got the thing or thing to do could be just for you. Even if you don't feel it right now, don't mean someday it'll turn you out. You'll be out of sight. You really shouldn't ought to fight it. The music is designed to do no harm. It's just for you. Just a little bit of effort. I can't eat where we might just turn you on. Just for you. Stickers in your ear, diggers. One time, one time, one time, one time, and see. We're just for you. You really shouldn't ought to fight it. The music is designed to do no harm. We're just for you. With just a little bit of effort, I can't and will, we might just turn you on. We have come to help people. Our system another reality. Through our music and bring it home.
This is the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for social and political straight talk, on air, online, and on point. Get ready to join the conversation with your host, Ms. Tanya Free.
Today is Wednesday, July 8th. Welcome to the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show. I am Tanya Free, joined by my friends, Katrina Harris. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Fine, long time no see.
Yes.
How was the summer?
Wonderful so far.
Well, good, good, good. And also with me is Dr. West. How are you?
I'm doing real well, thanks.
Well, good. Thank you all for being here.
I'm just so happy to be sitting in Mouse Jones's seat for 15 minutes. I just don't know what to do.
You know you got to pay for that when he get here.
You're
going to pay for that.
I miss him. I miss the mouse.
He's about to bust wide open. He'll be joining us in the next segment.
Oh,
so.
My goodness. Looking forward to it.
I know, along with Van. Van
Thanks.
Nevels as well will be joining us. Also with us today is Antoinette Baylor, our social media person, as well as our roving correspondent. Hello, hello.
Hello.
And behind the scenes is Marcus Evans and Mr. Free, and Jeremiah will be with us shortly. Thank you all for being here today. We want our listeners to join the conversation. Phone lines are open, 804-321-1010. Our toll-free number, 844-321-1010. Or you can text us at TanyaFree63975. I want us to extend our condolences to the family of Amar Brown, a 7-year-old that was killed amongst the 9 in a two-day gun violence in Chicago. And it's so unfortunate when our kids are not safe, just to be children. And what do you think about that, Dr. West?
Well, it is tragic, and it's a terrible tragedy, and it's happening all the time. We're looking at it, and we're thinking about the 4th of July and the circumstances, but there have been mass killings in Chicago for a long time.
True, that is true.
And so it's not like all of a sudden this thing is happening. This thing has been happening for some time. Looking forward to when we all get going to talk about it.
Well, let's talk about it now. We were just talking before we went on the air that this past week in Chicago had like 40 people that were injured and 7 were killed. And this was over a 2-day holiday period. Now, Memorial Day weekend, I think it was Baltimore, had mass, shootings and killings as well. My question is, what's going to happen Labor Day? I mean, another, major.
Well, you don't have to wait for Labor Day.
That's true. That is true.
You can wait till Friday night.
Okay.
All over
That's
the country.
True. It's just not reported.
Well, it's being reported. The thing is not being reported in such a way that you
not
start,
highlighted. Put it that way.
You're not putting the pieces together.
Right.
It's all seeming that an isolated incident here or one there, but the cause may be the same.
Right, and one thing about this particular shooting, the young man he happened to have been watching fireworks with his father. His father was the intended target. And, he was a gang member. My question is this, why was he on the street? He had a long criminal record. You know, like 40 arrests. Why was he even on the street?
You're talking about the father?
The father.
Well, it's an endless cycle. And this has been going on for years. And I just feel my heart breaks for the lost children because that's what we're dealing with. You're dealing with homes where there are no parents. You might be living with grandma. You might be just living with somebody. But it's no more parenting.
Right.
And the children go to school. They look for that stability. And now the schools are being run like businesses. So we can't even do the things that we used to do with children and more of the nurturing. So they're not getting it from anywhere. So when a gangbanger walks up to them and says, delivers this package, you're a part of my family, that's what they do. And they become a part of their family and they start doing crimes.
That is so unfortunate.
And to follow that point, if you look at the community generally from what was going on, say, 50 years ago, what you've had is that you've had a breakdown in the family, and and the influence of the church is less, and the male is not in the household. You know, you look at a number of different things, and we could probably sit here and list them all day long that have happened under the guise of this great society that was coming along. The result is that the community that we know is one that is suffering, and because there's no infrastructure, there's no basis. There's the control in the communities is a good part of it are the gangs. That's what keeps stability on the street.
Okay, how do we change that? I guess that's my question. How do we change that situation? Because just like there's an outcry with regards to racial profiling and justice and equality, shouldn't there be an outcry with regards to the crime in our community?
But when you start, I think the root cause most of it are failed public policies. And when you have failed public policies over 50 years, you have a group that may be entrenched in promoting or continuing to promote those policies. Those are the people who are getting paid as the workers in the social services department.
Well, go ahead and say, you said it earlier before we got on the air. We are telling our people, leaders are not saying the message that we need to hear.
Oh no. I mean, if once we get started and start looking at who's been a part of selling this notion, this vision that ain't there,
right,
then I think you can start to go back and start saying, well, this is where we need to focus on and making the problem. You're cleaning up the problem. You know, you can't have like the sister just said, the school systems is breaking down.
That's the start. That's the start.
The business of the school system are paying salaries and benefits to the people in there, not really educating the students.
Well, I think one of the major problems is our government, who decided that we need testing, and testing is what they use to accredit a school. Schools should be accredited by the programs they have to meet the needs of all children that are in there.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
And that's where we're lacking, and it's not that's not important anymore. It's like you as a teacher, you teach, and it's your job to make sure that child passes those tests. Now, if the child doesn't study or not in an environment that they can study, what does that leave you with?
Right.
And you're to blame. The school is to blame, so you're not accredited. You cannot run a school like a business.
Right.
We're not putting out products. We are nurturing human beings to be better adults, as well as being able to take care of themselves. When they go into elementary school now, basically all the basic skills they should already know.
And usually that is not the case.
Right.
Definitely.
If you don't have parents at home that's teaching you, how are you going to learn how to write your name and all of that? That's a given. It should be done before you enter preschool, almost, first grade. So if that's not done, then this kid is behind, but they go on with SOLs, he's still behind, then he goes to middle school and can't read. So then I don't have parents, I'm frustrated, I can't read, what can I do? There's other kids coming to school with these new clothes on. I want these clothes too. So what do? I sell drugs. Or join a gang and do whatever it takes for me to belong to something.
Right.
And that's where we are. So how do you change? if we don't have policies to go back to the way it was, where we can teach our children basic skills before they get to middle school, you should be able to know how to read, write, and know basic math skills. Kids can't add, subtract, multiply, and divide. They can't. So it's a scary situation, and unless some of that changes, it's going to continue. So you get frustrated, you get caught up in the way, and you start killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way.
Right. That is.
Lose.
Yeah.
Right.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the only options seem to be either in the streets or the grave.
Right.
You know, and that is so unfortunate. And I mean, what do we do to get parents to change, or how do we make that change? I mean, kids are having kids nowadays, and it's so unfortunate. I was someplace and I saw this young lady, and she looked like she couldn't have been no more than maybe 17. She was pushing a stroller and had one on the way. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, what do you do with that?
Well, parents are saying, I can't do anything with him, so don't call me about what he's doing at school. Okay, what do you suggest we do? Other students have the right to learn.
That's right.
He doesn't have the right to be in here disrupting class to the point that you can't teach.
True.
But so where do you go? We're in this vicious cycle, and it goes on and on and on.
Or either they're put on medication and you can't teach them. That's what I've never understood. How do kids get put on all this medication?
But let's go back to the sister's point about the classroom, where you have 20 kids in the classroom, 17 of whom want to learn, want to get it.
Do you actually have that many?
Well,
do you have that many that want to learn?
Well,
I
however
think,
many.
Well, to be honest with you, I think all children want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I think all children want to be disciplined.
Exactly.
But it's lost in the chaos.
And in the chaos, that means that the three who aren't on board keep the other 17 from getting on board, or not having the opportunity to really get to the depths of it. You know, teachers are put in a terrible situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't dare be a teacher in this day and time.
And because most teachers that you talk to are more concerned about the parents who come up to the school as opposed to the
having a fit, wanting you to work a miracle with their child, and they can't work a miracle at home themselves. Or can't do anything with the kid. And that's, you know, one of the reasons when we talked about the teachers in, I think it was Atlanta, that end up serving time, as to they were teaching, you know, the test, and when the kids couldn't get it, they end up changing scores, you know, because all the pressure that, you know, teachers are under.
It shouldn't be all that pressure, but you should never cheat because of it.
Oh, I agree with that.
I just assume fail and then put on my nice suit and go to court and say, you can't fire me because my students didn't pass. I mean, to me, that's a better way. But it's a scary thing, because what do you do?
Right.
With the children, what do you do?
Going back to the policy side of it, you know, you think about the teacher in the classroom at the front line, and then all of what they have to do, all of the things that they have to account for, which there's all this bureaucratic administration that's creating the hindrances, or at least trying to provide the fiction that the system is somehow working. And at the end of the day, if you really look at it, by what they're doing is that they're saying that if the kids aren't learning, it's the teacher's fault. That's not right.
Right, exactly.
And see, the thing is, going back to the community, back in the day, you know, one of the most respected persons in the community, when we had our schools, when we had that community, were the teachers.
Right, exactly.
You know, you acted up in school, and before you got home,
you had a sense of respect. Everybody
along the way knew you had acted up and said,
right.
And the community was there to take a part in the development. There's no community. There's no family.
How do we lose all that? That's the part that just keep baffling. I just feel baffled about. Raymond texts us that said that when we make gun laws as strict as drug laws, we will see a change. You all agree with that?
I agree.
Well, maybe so, but then too, you have children that are coming in the classroom that are living their lives as adults in the afternoons. I mean, probably having sex more than I am. And doing all sorts of things. And you said, little Johnny,
that's scary.
Turn around, stop talking, and he tells you, well, my baby kept me up all night, and you're 14 years old. I mean, so your the way you talk, the way you deal with them has to be totally different. I can't.
Yeah, especially when you have officers in the school now.
Right. You can't treat them like they're children when they're
right.
living the
right.
life of adults.
They're acting like adults.
But they're too immature to take that next step of being responsible, and they don't know how to be responsible.
Right. And everybody at home is, irresponsible.
Right.
That is so unfortunate. And, I don't know what the answer is. And what is the test, the SOL?
Yes.
I think it affects our community more than other communities. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think it's all over the United States. I don't think it's just here in Virginia. All the school systems have to have a test.
But does it impact the African American community more, is my question.
I think it does. To be honest with you, I think it impacts all kids, because even the ones that are doing well on the test, they have, it's like, you test me to death. I'm sick of tests. They're losing their momentum of what school is for.
Basic knowledge of what they need to know. Or how to, like you said, write their name, basic math. History is a very big part, not knowing where they came from.
But also how to think.
Right, and how to think, yeah.
And have standards.
And the biggest thing, how to speak, how to talk.
Right.
I mean, when I listen to some of these kids, I'm like, really?
But if you grow up in that environment and no one is talking to you but your friends who know...
And they're speaking the same language.
And they speak the same language. And texting and computer technology is not helping us either, because they actually use some of those text words in papers that they write, and you're saying, this is not acceptable. And they're saying, yes, it is. And, they don't know how to spell because they're so used to texting.
And listen to this rap music. I was listening, we were watching, what was the award show, the BET Awards or whatever. I couldn't understand anything the rappers were saying. I mean, I was sitting there asking Mr. Free, please interpret whatever the heck the message is. I couldn't understand anything they were saying. I really couldn't.
Was he able?
Was he what?
Was he able to interpret?
Yeah, because he
rolls like that. Huh?
He had some of the artists that he actually recognized, and he did understand some of what they were saying. I couldn't understand a doggone thing they were saying. I told him to turn it. It got on my doggone nerves. When we were coming up, we had songs with messages, and as far as I'm concerned, you can understand. You can play that now today. My thing is this: when the kids get 20, 30, 40 years old, will they be able to look back at their music and say, hey, I understood this. This is what this meant, or whatever? Will it have any merit to it then? To me, I don't have any now. Reggie, how are you, friend?
Hey, Tanya, how you doing, your illustrious panel there?
Hey, Reggie.
All right, real quick, we talk about the children. I don't know if y'all maybe with situations going on in California with Governor Jerry Brown. Is not only having blacks and Latinos take a certain test for chemicals, but also they're trying to get the youth in order to take certain, I guess, they're talking about a big outbreak on measles. But see, here's my issue. Not being all over the place. One, if you look at how the curriculum is going as far as schools, they're right now not even really talking about civics and about, what your rights are as far as the individual.
Right, I agree with you. Not they want us to be ignorant.
Yeah, they want to dumb down. If you look at history, just like what's going on down, I think, in Greece, what's going on with the money situation. Well, basically what it was that people who are in power right now, they told them, if you come in power, we're going to make sure that your banks don't have credit ratings. That's why we're going to make sure we stop it. So you guys don't even have any kind of way in order to pay your bills. So I'm just saying, when Governor Jerry Brown is starting to mess with the youth of California, this reminds me of the Tuskegee experiment. And I'm like, history repeating itself. And for some reason, mainstream media is not talking about it. So, and for a person, yes, I know Brown is a Democrat. I'm not trying to be political, but there's no cut cards here. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I'm just saying again that we're not civic minded, as you always preach on your show and your guests. And then this is the crazy what's going to happen. So that's just my spiel today. I'm really sad about what's going on in California, and I would hope that your network people would kind of find out what's going on and maybe ask more questions.
Okay, we will. Reggie, tell everybody to listen to your show. We got to get ready to go to a break.
Oh, no, every Saturday from 11:45 to 1. And take care, guys.
All right, have a good one, and thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll take a break and be right back.
You better put them hands together and act like you know up in here. GP.
Lately I've been going
Hi, this is Chocolate Chip. Summer is here and school is out. A difficult time for families of youth with behavioral problems. Maybe you waited till the last minute, or maybe that summer program you chose just isn't working out. It's not too late. Summer slots still available. Call the Metropolitan Day School. Call 804-321-2595. Today, educational and counseling services in the home and community all summer long. Transportation and meals included. Call Mrs. Brittenham today, 804-321-2595. Metropolitan Day School, where eagles soar.
It's about increasing your take-home pay, right? You can as a marketing rep for Freedom Marketing. If you have the desire to help local businesses grow, your own transportation, and recent past sales experience, then the Freedom Marketing team wants to talk to you today. Call 321-1010. That's 321-1010. Work your own hours and receive competitive commission pay as a marketing representative for Freedom Marketing. Get paid. Call 321-1010. That's 321-1010 today.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready, because the conversation will be hot, and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app, available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now. Give Tanya a call at 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 toll-free coast to coast. That's toll-free 844-321-1010.
We'll go straight to the phones. Ayo, how are you? Can't hear him. Is he there? Is he there? Ayo, how are you? Is he there? I can't hear him. Can you all hear? No. Okay.
All right, can you hear me now?
There he is. Oh, okay. Hello. Hi, Ayo. How are you?
All right. Let me get off and running. We're in the middle of America LLC. It's being run from an angle of profit and loss. There are a larger percentage of liability, which is education, which is the inner city, which is poverty, and therefore that's where the destruction is literally at. If you look at the profit, it's at the corporate end. And you have people like President Barack Obama, who is corporate figurehead, trying to represent an image that no longer is alive. That so-called free world idea is dead. That education idea in America, it's dead. Look where they're putting the money. They're putting the money in the prison industrial complex. If you wanted to save the children, you put the money where it would be of use to the children. How is that saving the children? And let's look at it from the standpoint of the local. You can't get cooperation from parents because of government policies from the 60s that have literally brought us to a situation now where our children, when they were having babies at a young age, those babies are having babies. Now, those mothers who were not, and those fathers who were not educated back then, how can they educate their children now? We are in a situation where we have to take control. If we want to run the black community, let's stop looking outside of it. 1. 2, let's coordinate, in other words, collate our ideas of education. Because that's what? If we go by the educational standards they set, they're set so that they can keep us here. We got to set a standard and then meet that standard by correlating our resources. And the last thing, above all, we got to get away from these here rules and regulations set to control the masses. Because we are independent thinkers, and literally, we are hands-on. We are more creative with our hands and minds simultaneously than they could ever be, because they're analytical. We are not analytical, we are logical, and we bring creativity to the light. There's a different aspect of education altogether there. So we can't sit back and look at the murders in Chicago and then say, oh, woe is me, when they never say, well, the guns that were used in those murders were traced back to who? The same corporations that's dumping the drugs in the city. Come on, our government is not working for our best interest, so we got to literally take control of our local government on community level. We got to educate our children with the resources we have in our community and network with those communities that are like-minded. And the best part about that is the fruits of our labors will be the restructuring of where we want our people to go. Because guess what? They're pumping now. If you look at any state, you can go into the prison industrial complex and look at their budget and look at that same state's educational budget. I'll bet the prison industrial complex budget is 10 to 15% higher.
Okay.
Tanya, I love you, but you got to come back to the world, sister, because it's no longer education the way we used to know it.
Okay, and I agree with you there. You're right. It's no longer the way we used, but we gotta get it to a point where it is purposeful for our kids. Bring them back. And that's the question. How do we do it? You gave a suggestion. We got to look within our community. I agree with you 100% on that.
Okay, let's start with real basic stuff. Let's get back to farming and growing our own food. When we can grow our own food, we'll know what our kids are eating before they go to school.
Okay.
And let's get back to the educators who literally know how Afrocentric education should work for us and how to apply it in a functional system that would benefit all of our children. And 3, we also have to have a measure of success in our community in which we have an expectation not only for ourselves but for our neighbors. Because
okay, let me ask you this. You got wonderful ideas. How do we start that?
He's telling Very simple. You start in the home. In the home, how you start in the home is that you collate committees, community committees that turn off the TV.
Okay.
Once you turn off the TV, you stop the programming process.
Okay.
Then you teach your children you don't walk past paper on the floor in your house.
Okay.
They get to picking up the paper on the floor in their house. When they want the community to look good, guess what? They'll pick up the paper in the community.
Okay.
This is on the smallest level. And listen, this is only the beginning. And we ain't done because we're far from starting. I love you.
All righty. Thank you, Ayo. Appreciate that.
That brother was right.
Yeah, he was right on point. Okay, well, we're gonna welcome Van Nevels and Mouse Jones to the conversation. Y'all go ahead, jump in there.
I think we're done with the show today. Thank you very much, Carl.
That's Ayo. Well, Trudy says Mouse is here today. Okay, Mouse, your fan club is calling you. Go ahead, respond to that.
It's this dream we have. You know, you can't. I've been saying it on the show for years. This is the most dangerous country in the world because we believe in guns. We have had guns put in our hands from the moment we were kids. This is what we do. You settle things with violence. And today with these...
Oh, I disagree with that.
Well,
100%.
Say as you want to. You can disagree.
No,
you can't disagree with the
numbers.
About
a gun.
You don't know. But that doesn't mean that you can't be killed by the gun.
True.
And there are too many guns out there.
And
we are the most armed country in the world. And we keep talking about fighting ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Look at the number of Americans who've been killed by them as compared to the number of Americans who've been killed by other Americans. We're just a violent society. You can walk and you can buy guns in this country at a younger age than you can buy cigarettes. You can go into a Walmart and buy a gun at 13 years of age if you have the money. There are no laws to stop it.
A structure, and I use that word metaphorically, is only as good as the foundation off of what it's built. I'm dovetailing off of what he's just saying, and he's exactly right about it.
We don't
founded on violence. So
being that it's a more violent community, AO had very good points as to how we can change that.
No, he talking about turning off the TVs. The kids
well, like he said, well, it starts in the home, and I agree with that. And we got to start in the home. And like what Trina was saying, our kids are coming to school now. They can't read, can't write. And that starts in the home. That starts in the home.
People are wired for violence. People are wired to take chances.
No, I disagree with you on that.
Well, I'm quite sure you do disagree.
Yeah, because I didn't grow up in a community that was violent.
You grew up in a community. You wasn't part of it.
And that was not, and let me say this, I was, in a poverty-stricken community, and we didn't know anything about guns, and not in the community I was in.
Well, no, let's go back to the point that the reality, what the brothers are saying, the reality on the street is violence. Period.
Not just the streets.
Right, but changing that. Okay.
Economy.
Okay, we can talk about that all day
long. How
does
this country solve its problems?
That? I mean, in order to make this what we're talking about purposeful, what we should be talking about is how to change that. That's what the colleges gave us.
No, okay, but now going back to what is going on in the community, the other side of it, and I think they're calling it, I think Mouse calls it visionary, is that you want to take, you don't want it to continue as it is.
Right.
Okay, so your point is, how do you get from where we are to where we need to go?
People,
now,
I think you guys.
The caller just said.
Human nature. Let me tell you about human. It's incumbent upon us to take chances. We have white folks who are scared to walk in certain neighborhoods at night. I mean, scared to death. Yet there have been 8 people bitten by sharks, and they continue to go into the water. You just got to understand something. You guys are at a wrong psyche. We are looked at as the most dangerous thing on the planet, African Americans. And anybody of dark complexion, if you were to tell somebody that there was a city, North Carolina, that 8 white tourists would have been randomly attacked, they would have nobody there. You have sharks biting people's arms off, and the water is still full. Okay. That's what human beings do. People take chances. They jump off of buildings. They dive deeper than what they're supposed to do. The only way England got rid of the gun violence by actually outlawing the guns. You take guns away from people. You can't shoot anybody if you don't have a gun in order to shoot with.
How do we change that,
well, let me ask you to come back to
that. That is unchangeable in the United States. Forget about it.
The first step is to get the guns under control.
The guns under control, but guess what you can do about the guns?
Too many people got too many guns.
Well, you keep saying, just a minute, I have a plan for that.
Okay.
You take away the bullets. See, you can't take the guns away from them. You take away the bullets.
And how do you do that?
You legislate, just like with cigarettes. You know what cigarettes cost in New York?
Do you think $14
a pack?
The NRA doesn't have a damn thing to do with you taxing bullets out of the what it costs. I've been out to go shooting. You've never gone. I keep saying this to you for 3 years. You keep taking an issue, but you won't go try. It's expensive. If you make it too expensive, people will not go. Just 3 years ago, Hummer stopped being in production. They stopped producing expeditions. When gas prices got over $4, a market disappeared. It disappeared because people couldn't afford to do it. Make it so it's not so economic. That's right. That it's so affordable to do. You have to expense people out of doing things.
Okay, let me say this. Do you think the guns that are coming in our community, these are licensed weapons? People are actually buying. No.
Yes.
No. Oh no.
Yes. Once again, you won't go with me to a gun show. You can go to a gun show and get around the law.
You mean to
you
tell
can
me
go to the trading post and buy as many guns as you want?
In Chicago this weekend, the people that were doing the shooting, they actually were licensed.
They don't have to be licensed to own a gun. There's an attorney that goes there.
The guns came from a manufacturer, which was then sold by a store to someone.
You can buy guns from an individual without any background check. You can buy any gun you want. I can take you right now, get your trading post, give you and you call. You can buy any gun you want right now from any private individual. No one checks anything. I can't get you people who keep sitting there saying that this can be fixed. It is in our psyche. The first toy I was given was a cap pistol. You watch Roy Rogers and the people, first thing Matt Dillon and them did when they walked into a saloon was shoot up the damn bar.
Look at kids. They want to play cowboys and Indians.
These games they got today. Look at ISIS. ISIS are recruiting through virtual violence. They're letting people see actual violence. And this is what turning on young people who feel disenfranchised. Right. If you do something enough, we have proven that football and soccer and other contact sports are actually causing concussions at a disproportionate rate from those who don't participate, and these games are still growing exponentially. Human beings are not reasonable people. We have an attorney here. Ask him. We have the death penalty in this country. We have the highest. We kill more people than any other
industrialized
and it has not slowed up murders because people who are committed. No one ever commits a crime thinking they're going to get caught. Not one.
Some people commit a crime and
Dr.
don't
West?
care if they get caught. So.
Well, I mean, what part of
Put
that?
that
I mean,
into perspective.
we went across the board on a number of different points.
I was trying to help you since you went.
No, here we go. See, that wisdom didn't pass from the seat. See.
Well, one of the things you said that while people are afraid of us and they're still going into the water with the sharks and that sort of thing, well, that's because we are afraid of us. We are.
We bought into it. You know one thing? Go to the
Would
movies.
you agree with that?
Well, I agree with that. We are dangerous. No, not that we are dangerous. People are dangerous. Nobody's more dangerous than white folks. Let's just get this straight. They conquer the world. They go everywhere. Everybody else in the world was satisfied with Central America, Africa, South America. All these people are speaking European languages because the Europeans had nothing in the world to do but go around and conquer and take over and force their religion and their culture on people. But when I say something about guns, go to the movies. When you want to see a hero, you know when the hero throws his gun away? When he runs out of bullets. That's what they do.
And then he goes and looks for another.
They go look at you literally. If you have nothing to put in
I don't know
it,
anything about that.
okay, well I'm just sitting there telling you. Why do you something you can relate to?
Why would you throw the gun away? Why just get more bullets?
Because I'm saying if you don't have any bullets, that's what I'm trying to say. That's the point I'm making.
That's the point he's trying to make. Once you're out of ammunition,
Just like you know what our schools have done. If someone would have told you 5 years ago that you couldn't buy a sugary soda or candy in the school, they'd tell you wouldn't be. These people, you can't have students, so they're taking the sugary products out, the sweets. They have now juices and healthy stuff.
It's high fructose corn
and they're
syrup.
taking it out. And guess what? So now if you don't have that choice, you can't get it. This is what I'm saying to you. You take things away. If you take away the means, then you don't have to worry about it happening. A kid, if a kid plays with matches, if they have no matches, they can't play with matches. This is all I'm saying. As a society, we're still going by a constitution that was written over 200 years ago when they say arms. When those people were talking about banning arms, they were talking about fighting a country. They're talking about a gun that can only be shot twice in a minute, in 60 seconds. You now have guns now with cyclable rates of 600 rounds or 1,200 rounds per minute. This was not envisioned when they did it. The NRA is just getting a free pass. We need to make guns. We need these laws. You need to be able to stop people and take away illegal guns.
Mouse is making it extremely, extremely simplistic from the standpoint of take away the bullets, therefore the guns are inert, useless. But in doing so, now someone else is going to show up and go, hey, my business is based on making these bullets to go with these guns, and that starts an endless cycle of now you're infringing upon capitalism and all this kind of stuff.
You did it with cigarettes.
But, you know,
what do you mean
you all make it sound like it's just about guns. It's more than just about guns. But you all agree with that? It's more than just about guns.
Well, yeah, I think it's
the mentality of the hand.
Accept the violence in the community as the first thing. Let's go to the second thing. You know, the community right now. I think when it was started, we're talking about failed public policy.
Right. On purpose.
I mean, clearly, for 50 years, we've had policies that have made the impact of this violent culture have more of an impact. Because when you think about where people are getting shot, whether it's in the Chicago scenario or Baltimore scenario, or at the same time, where the police are attacking black folks, it's the same community, same geographic area.
And the reason, think about this, they are afraid of us too. We're shooting each other.
They've been socialized to people are socialized to be afraid of one group of folks versus another. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Let's take a break and we'll come right back.
I'm just explaining that part of it. I'm not.
Till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise.
Are you searching for the best in online black radio? Then go to blacktalkradionetwork.com, helping you filter through the noise. Real talk, black talk.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers. Call 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730.
Hey there, Big John Trimble here. Thanks to Tanya for freeing up the time to allow me to talk about the Big John Trimble Show. Heard Monday through Friday mornings, 6 to 9, right here on WCLM Radio. Yes, sir, after 57 years, I'm still on the radio and 24/7 on BigJohnTrimble.com. It all originates from our backyard studio over here in Verona. We play a wide variety of requested music from Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, and Dinah Washington to George Jones, George Strait, and Loretta Lynn, along with the trivia contest and over-the-fence chats with our listeners from across the Richmond area, across the USA, and sometimes foreign countries. The Big John Trimble Show. It's the most fun you'll ever have with your clothes on.
Hello, friend. I'm Theron K. Cal, a.k.a. The Real Brother, inviting you to join me for The Real Brother Radio Show, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the RealBrotherRadioNetwork.com. And don't forget to like us on the Real Brother Radio Show Facebook page, The Real Brother Radio Show, because the truth has value.
A good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your radio. There is nothing wrong. We have taken control as to bring you this special show. We will return it to you as soon as you are grooving. Welcome to station WEFUNK, better known as We Funk, or deeper still, the Mothership Connection, home of the extraterrestrial brothers, dealers of funky music, P-Funk, Uncut Funk, the bomb.
Coming to you directly from the mothership. Top of the chocolate Milky Way. 500,000 kilowatts of P-Funk power. So kick back, dig, while we do it to you in your eardrums. Oh, me? I'm known as Lollipop Man, alias the long-haired sucker. My motto is, make mine the P-Funk. I want my funk uncut. Yeah, make my funk the P-Funk. I want to get funked up. I want the P-Funk. Yeah. Y'all. Now this is what I want y'all to do. If you got faults, defects, or shortcomings, like arthritis, rheumatism, or migraines, whatever part of your body it is, I want you to lay it on your radio. Let the vibes flow through. Funk not only moves, it can remove. Dig? The desired effect is what you get when you improve your interplanetary functionship. Sir Lollipop Man, chocolate-coated freaking habit former. Doing it to you in 3D. So groovy that I dig me. Once upon a time called now. Somebody says, is there funk after death? I say it's 7-Up. Yeah. P-Funk.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now. Give Tanya a call at 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 toll free coast to coast. That's toll free 844-321-1010.
Wants to get fucked up to the house. Oh, are we back? Okay, all right. I couldn't hear heard the music, so okay. Excuse me, engineer. Pointing his finger at me, about to have a fit. Okay, let's talk about the Confederate flag for a minute. It looks like things are looking good. The Senate passed, I think it was 39-3, and now it's gone to the House. I've heard talk about there being a substitute Confederate flag. Now, if that happens, we need to be up in arms, protesting loud and proud. Why do you think that? We got on the bandwagon. We're protesting.
We ain't done a damn thing. We rode on the back of the bus. That's where we belong and stay. The NAACP instituted a boycott back in 2000, and we still continue to go to Myrtle Beach. We still go to Myrtle Beach right now. We still spending money in South Carolina. We are nothing as a race of people. Nothing. We're just people that buffoons
Moss,
who got money and will spend
doom and gloom.
I'm not doom and gloom.
Yes,
Hold
you
up.
are.
Hold
You're
up.
doom and
Do
gloom.
you have relatives who go to Myrtle Beach today?
The reality that
Well,
he's
you
talking
I
about.
know your folks not going. Do people still go to
Do you
have relatives who go to Myrtle Beach?
I have people in South Carolina, and
Okay.
one of the reasons I don't like going to South Carolina is because of that Confederate flag. Now, I will be visiting in a few weeks because I have a 95-year-old aunt that I want to see. But other than that, I have no desire to go to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and any other beach.
I
that they
drive to
have.
Atlanta 3 or 4 times a year, and I refuse to spend money in South Carolina. That's the choice I
Well,
make.
the
I will
same
not
here.
eat there.
Oh, I
but
agree
I have
with you.
friends who go on a regular basis, go to Myrtle Beach. They
play
move the
golf.
flag from the Capitol
Black
to
Bike
the
Week.
and continue to go. Do you hear what I'm saying to you?
Oh, I understand.
People will kick us in the butt. And this Trump situation is the exact example of what I'm talking about.
You're right.
We will not stand for a damn thing. And because we don't, nobody cares about us. White folks had to get them. Now, Jesse wants to sit up in the gallery. This boy put this flag on this inside the gun and waved it. Look at any movie. Look at any depiction of a lynching or decapitation or Mississippi burning. It is the symbol that they stand behind. And this particular flag wasn't even part of the Confederate War. This didn't come out until the end of the Confederate War. What a lot of people fail to say when they keep saying it's part of their heritage is this. Robert E. Lee wouldn't even have the flag at his funeral. There was no flag when Robert E. Lee, who led the Confederate
Right,
Army.
I know who he is.
We go along with this thing about
Yes,
the
that's
Confederate
right
Army.
here in Virginia.
No country in the world has the right. If you lose, you lose. They try to call it the battle between the states. It wasn't the battle between the states. There weren't governors against governors. There was a president of the United States. There was a president of the Confederate States of America. When you lose, you lose. You do not see the Nazi flag in Germany.
Right.
When North Vietnam kicked South Vietnam's butt, after we got pulled out, there are no 2 flags there. We allowed this to fester and to continue to go on. But you know what?
This is the only. Go
But
ahead.
as a spending people, we did not force the issue. We continue to go and do as we want to do and spend money, so we don't force nothing.
This is the only situation I know of where the losers get to write history. It's always the winners that get to write history. There are people that are going to be organizing, I think, this weekend with a line of trucks with the Confederate flag
They
and
did
all
it
of
last
that.
weekend.
Okay,
Yeah, it was last weekend.
Well, my whole thing is when you talk about some heritage, the heritage is like, that's like trying to pay tribute and honor to your great-grandfather who fought on the side of Nazi Germany. They may have fought valiantly, they were fighting for the wrong cause, and they lost, and whoever you're commemorating died, and they're supposed to because they were on the losing team.
Well,
End of story.
I think the president said it well when he did the eulogy. He's saying we are acknowledging by keeping the flag up that slavery was okay. He said it the other way around, that taking the flag down shows that slavery was not right.
Well,
Yeah, no, but people fighting
that it was,
for
that
it.
it was wrong.
Well, see, you have to break it down between government buildings and private buildings.
Without a doubt.
I agree.
And I was in North Carolina last week at the border at Chesapeake. As you go into the Outer
Yeah.
Banks, there's a place called the Border Station. Half of it's in Virginia, half of it's in North Carolina. They had a big stack of Confederate flags that you could buy and take if it's your heritage. But they they were on sale, and there was no doubt that they were going to continue to be on
Oh,
sale.
they're going to continue. But I think you can do privately. You can do it. NASCAR said you can't have it on their official stuff. But let me put it on there right now. Can I advertise what I got coming up?
Go ahead, sure.
Look here. You can buy the 1-800 Wipe My Butt. I got toilet paper with the Confederate flag emblem on it. And every time I use the bathroom, I'm wiping my butt with it. So if you want some of these rolls, contact me, please.
You're going to need protection leaving out here today.
I'm not gonna do that. I have toilet paper with the Confederate flag as part of if this what it means to them,
that's a
I'll
bunny
let you
making
know what it
Protected by the
means to me.
Constitution, isn't he?
Well, we know.
Okay, then.
But the thing is, Alabama, I was just stunned that they had all the Confederate flags moved, but they had 4. How are you African American and you live in a state that have 4?
I've seen brothers with Confederate
live in
flag
Richmond.
tattoos.
Well, what?
You live in Richmond.
I've seen a brother with a Confederate flag tattoo.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, I've seen
Yes.
that. I've seen
I
that.
will pull it up for you.
I saw
and
one
send
in
it to you.
Stafford last week standing up.
Yeah.
This African American lady standing up with the Confederate flag on the defendant of the Confederate flag side.
We had a gentleman called us, Wendell called us last week, and he
Miseducation
said
is what
there
it's
are
called.
people in the South, African Americans in the South, that support it, and we asked people to call African Americans to call if they did. Now you all are telling me that you have actually seen African Americans
Well,
with
y'all got-
tattoos.
we got schools
That's
named-
a new
wait a
one.
minute, we got
That
schools
is
named after Confederate
Well, no, I'm
generals.
talking
You
about
got
we as a
monuments.
people.
Well, I'm talking about we as a
we as
people, our kids
but
go to
you all,
schools
it's
named
different when
after
you
them.
have black
No.
people with the Confederate flag tattooed
No,
on them.
It's only different if that person is aware of its history and
And
then
that-
still
and
do
that's
it.
where the breakdown is.
That's
You
where
can
it's
speak
at.
to that.
But that history's not being taught.
That's what we're talking about.
history
They're teaching
is
the SOL,
definitely
but
not
not
being-
the history.
Well, and a
Well,
part of
yeah.
And
that
shame on
is-
us
'Cause
as
the
well for
victors
not
write
teaching
history,
history as
sister.
well.
I just said that a minute ago.
Exactly.
You need to
That's
pay
the
attention,
problem.
love.
Unbelievable.
What's unbelievable?
That we
That we
lack
cowards?
knowledge. No, that we lack knowledge.
No, we cowards. We know.
We're not cowards.
We
We lack
cowards.
knowledge.
We cowards. We won't do
Okay,
anything.
all right. Well, let's turn our attention to Donald Trump now. 'cause I
Hell,
think we-
let's go back to
Yeah, I like the Confederate flag thing a whole
I think
lot.
you all are just freaking me out today. You actually saw a black individual with a tattoo.
Do
Confederate.
you read lips or do you understand English? Which
I
do you do
understand
better?
English very well. I just can't
I
believe it.
thought guy with.
Oh, no, you can't do that. That's
How
not
old was
political.
the
right?
person?
Okay.
Huh?
How old was the person?
I would.
was
He
just
was
curious.
easy. This person was easily in his early. I'd say early to mid 20s, if not
Right.
older than
Okay,
that.
he's
know
like
the
a knowledge.
history.
Yeah, he doesn't know the history.
And he was shaking the hand of a white guy with a Confederate flag on the back of his vest, and there was a Confederate flag in the background. Now, I'm saying the possibility does exist that it could be Photoshop, but I seriously doubt it. Because they were shaking hands like, attacking this particular symbol, it doesn't become a panacea for the removal and abolishment of racism in and of itself.
Right.
You're attacking the wrong
Right.
thing.
Right.
Right.
You know, the bottle is not the issue. It's the water that can drown you. That's the issue, metaphorically speaking. I like
Well,
that.
let's go to the phones. Real Brother's with us. Hello, Real Brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, doing good. Thanks for having me on the program. I wanted to just say real quick that we didn't hear about the crime data until 2012, and Obama was elected in 2008. And there was a reason why we didn't hear about the black-on-black crime data until 2012, and that was because black-on-black crime went down 80% when Obama was elected. Black-on-black crime went down 20% after the Million Man March, and nobody told you about it. So Barack Obama was reelected in 2012 after the racist lied, saying that Romney was ahead in the polls and he was going to win. Now, we didn't hear about 55 murders in Chicago until 2015. Now, what happened? What do you think happened over those 3 years after Obama was elected? Well, black crime went down. If you do a Google search under black crime in Chicago down 42%, you will see that after Obama was reelected and everybody found out that the racists were lying about Romney winning the election, they stopped killing each other. So black crime went down 42%, and then they stopped reporting black crime, until 3 years later, on 4th of July weekend, then we find out that they killed 15 people. But the reason they weren't reporting the black-on-black crime was because it was down 80%. That's why they weren't reporting.
Down 80% from when?
From 2007.
Okay.
That's Captain Kirkman. You must be on the Starship Enterprise.
I know you guys believe that whites are superior, so you don't believe me. But I'm asking you.
I believe
figure
facts
it
are
out.
superior.
How come they don't report the crime data?
Because it doesn't go with the propaganda.
No.
That's why
wait a minute.
they don't.
Time out. You don't know what you're saying.
Okay.
You don't realize what you're saying.
Okay.
When Obama was elected, right?
Mm-hmm.
If black crime went up 80%, and the racists who hate Obama because he's black, you don't think they would report that?
I think they conflate what exists
I have
anyway.
never seen an 80% drop in crime.
Neither have I.
Of course not, because Fox News didn't tell you.
I'm in the streets. I have never seen an 80% drop in crime.
Of course not, because Fox News didn't tell you.
I don't look
but
at
you know
Fox.
that black crime. Will you listen to me for a minute?
We're kindly
Stop
asking you where you get your information from. Since you
I'm
make a
getting my
point.
information. I get my information on Chicago crime from the Chicago PD.
Okay.
In 2012, black crime went up 80%. There was 532 murders in Chicago in 2012. And did you hear about it? You damn right you heard about it. How come? Because black crime went up 80% in 2012, and that meant that black people were killing each other, and it was Obama's fault. He was his hometown. But what happened in 2008? Oh, well, black crime went down 80%, and we didn't report it. But when it went back up 80%, sure did. And then after he was elected, well, we didn't hear it. They reported it once. How come? Because they were just like you guys. They thought they just knew black crime went up when Obama was reelected, but black crime had went down 42%. So they decided, well, we better wait. Wait till what? Well, wait till it goes back up. Oh, so 4th of July weekend, 2015, 3 years later. Oh, crime goes up, 55 people shot. And then the Tanya Free and Friends shows want to do a special show. Al Sharpton wants to go to Chicago and get an apartment and live there and hope he don't get shot. No, please. So
okay, real brother, you're going a little too far now. You're going way too far.
I'm not good at math.
No, we have to verify what you're saying because I don't know if that's the case or not. And you're listening to Fox News, which I don't listen to Fox News either.
Tanya, why don't you do a search right now? 532 murders, 2012, Chicago.
Okay, well, we've moved on from that topic now. We're talking about the Confederate flag, and we're going to actually talk about something else in a few minutes when we come back from the break. Tell everybody to listen to your show.
Okay, you can hear the truth weekdays between the hours of 6 and 9 p.m. on the Real Brother Radio Network.
Okay, thank you, friend. We'll be tuned in.
Or you can turn it to his website. I'm a damnfool.com.
You go to the phones. Everett?
Is it AM or PM?
Yes. Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine. How about you?
I'm well. And I could not help but overhear the last caller in Chicago. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different little creature than we have here in this little RVA, Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And crime is down. Crime is actually down in Richmond.
Crime is down nationally.
Next door to my house is a mobile police station because someone wants to go and rob the store. And they shoot the man yesterday afternoon here in Richmond. And it's another senseless, lazy slimeball who thinks that they can take a hardworking person's money and walk with it. That's not right. No. And that's right here across from RIR, right down from the racetrack.
Wow.
And it doesn't make sense in this community where most of the people are settled. I won't say we're seniors, but we're seasoned. And we ought to be able to take our streets back.
You're absolutely right. And what do you suggest?
I suggest that on 804, we celebrate in the 804 America Night Out.
Okay.
Okay.
August the 4th is American Night Out. Let's take our streets back.
Okay. Now, that's just one event. So, I mean, after that.
That's when it starts.
Okay.
And we do it 365. We need to do something every day in our communities to raise our children and to spend time with our seasoned citizens.
Okay.
The last time I checked, everyone in between a child and an elderly person were grown and sexy. Well, put the sexy away and let's be grown and let's take care of our children and our elderly. Can you feel me?
Right. Yeah. I like that one. I like that
now,
one. So you said
the flag. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Give us the date again.
August 4th. It's the first Tuesday in August. And it's called, National Night Out in the country.
Night, okay.
But we're the only area code 804 on the 804.
Okay.
And we need to make a statement. We're not going to settle for people who think that they can take and not give.
I agree with you 100%. We got to take our streets back. I agree with you 100%. And
if
we have an overall effort opposed to, one or two here and there, that's, for the most part, I think has been the problem.
Well, there's only one major newspaper in this city, and that's the RTD, Richmond Times-Dispatch. And there are only three news medias, WTVR, WRIC, and WWBT.
Right.
But what do they get together and do?
Well, why don't you give them a call?
And
that's a start.
That's a start. And we get them changing the flavor of their news because everyday bad news appears.
Thank you. We got to take a break.
Yeah.
We're going to Black Talk Commentary by Scotty Reed.
I run a Bible to my mother, an older sister, and three young brothers. We seen it hard, we seen it kind of rough. But always with a smile, she was sure to try to hide the fact from us that life was really tough. I can hear my mother call, I can hear my mother call. Late at night I hear her call on the was catching hell. Hey, hear my mother call. I can hear my mother call. Let it hear a call. Oh, Lord, I hear a call. She says, Father, Father, it's for the kids. Any and everything I did. Please, please don't judge me too strong.
As the South Carolina Senate debates whether or not to remove the North Virginia Confederate flag from the South Carolina State House grounds, it is important to use accurate language to describe the so-called Southern heritage it represents. Southern heritage, as it relates to the flag, represents tyranny and terrorism. The tyranny is represented by the multitude of laws known as the Black Codes that were not far removed from the slave codes that regulated the movements and behavior of enslaved Africans across the South. The tyranny was evident by the assassinations of black politicians in the South that attained office during so-called Reconstruction. The tyranny was evident by the segregation laws that allowed white business owners in cities and towns to deny public services and accommodations to black people, including forcing them to get out of town by sundown. To keep blacks from challenging tyranny in the South en masse, terrorism was used in attempts to keep them fearful and passive. The terrorism manifested itself in the form of the white sheets and hoods donned by the Klan, former sons of the defeated Confederacy who came at night to burn crosses, black churches, black businesses, and black homes. Terrorism that included thousands of lynchings, extrajudicial killings, and the rape of black women across the South. Today, the flag represents the dreams and desires of men, women, and children in the South to return to the days of overt tyranny and terrorism. That is true Southern heritage, and why flags and monuments that seek to glorify tyranny and terrorism must be removed from the public squares across the South. As artist John Sims says, it is time to burn and bury the Confederate flag. Let it go, South Carolina. Let it go. This has been Scotty Reed with your Black Talk Radio Weekly Commentary. Visit us on the web at blacktalkradionetwork.com.
This is Tanya Free. If it's Monday, it's time for Let's Get Busy with your host, King Salim Kalfani, 4 to 6 p.m. here on the heart and soul of the city, WCLM 1450 AM. Kick off the week with KSK, Commonwealth Consultation, LLC, for 2 power-packed hours of news you can use, featured guests, cutting-edge commentary, and more. Let's get busy with King Salim Kalfani every Monday at 4.
WCLM 1450 AM, Highland Springs, Richmond. The soul of the city is WCLM 1450 AM.
Dance our way out of our constriction. Gonna be freaking up and down the hang-up alleyway. With a groove I only got, we shall all be moved. Ready or not, here we come, getting down on the one which we believe in.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now. Give Tanya a call at 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 toll free coast to coast. That's toll free 844-321-1010.
We all have things in our house right now that we cannot use.
Okay, let's come back and shift gears here. Let's talk about Bill Cosby, because I know everybody's dying to talk about Bill Cosby.
Let's talk about guns some more.
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about guns anymore because you all are wrong, and until some change come about, I don't want to talk about guns anymore. Let's talk about Bill Cosby, since that cropped up last night. And I am I'm disappointed because at first, my first thought was that he did it because it was like one woman that came forward. And then you start having all the, this slew of women coming forth. I thought, okay, they're making this crap up, and he was being silent, but now this new information has come out, I am truly, truly disappointed. And I'm having a hard time separating the person from the character.
That's
Trina?
because you probably didn't really know the person.
No, I didn't.
And
I fell in love with the character, Bill Cosby, the
Yeah.
Cosby Show, and all of that, and
Well-
everything that he was standing for, trying to help out people with, his activism. And I fell in love with that person.
But and if what they're saying is true, if he actually did this, then
well, they've got files that open up, and he
that's
was in
true.
the courtroom.
But, I
he
mean,
said that.
he's a freak, and if that's what you are, then you and all the money he makes, he can get one of those blow up dolls. Why would you want somebody unconscious before
Blow-up
you
doll?
touch them? That's the first thing. So
Okay.
it makes me wonder about his home life. Camille, you need to leave.
Camille ain't
His
going
his
nowhere.
wife, okay.
I agree.
Camille ain't going nowhere.
Because she's doing
She
all
took her
along.
for him.
Because you
She
wouldn't know the
took her
name
for him.
Camille if it weren't for Cosby.
That's true,
Okay.
but still.
But okay.
Well,
She could leave
Well, they
because
say
she
his
could
net
over
worth is
half.
about $400 million. Camille ain't going nowhere.
How much is he worth?
$400 million.
Okay.
Well, she can take that as she walk out the door.
Yeah, I doubt she.
Yeah, how?
No.
How? That's number one. But more than that, this is decades old. Why is it now coming out?
I thought about that too.
What is this about?
I think it is something more to that.
It's got to be.
That they're exposing him in this
'Cause
way.
it-
He's
it-
not the only one that does this sort
No.
of thing, I'm sure. But so for some reason, he offended somebody somewhere, and they
Mm-hmm.
are blowing it up.
Well, let me ask this question. I guess you made a very good point that this happened, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I guess what is the most recent incident he had? The one that the suit. When was that? I can't remember the date.
I don't know, because I still go back to, this could not have been a big secret to folks in that world.
Exactly.
It's a big,
Right.
it's
Exactly.
shocking news, and oh my God, Bill Cosby, how
That's
is that
true.
possible to you and me? Because we only see he lives in a box in our living room. You don't know
Right.
nobody that even knew that
Right.
even knows him. So this can't be a secret, number one. Then there's the rumor that goes back to his son getting killed as a result of him trying to
Right.
buy NBC. Is it something like that he was planning on doing that someone was trying to, circumvent? Because this ain't just coming out of the goodness of anybody's heart in that world, because people in that world who run stuff for real, they ain't got
Well,
hearts
you know
like
what? I was
that.
talking to someone yesterday, and they made a very good point. Why is this getting more press coverage than the death of his son? Look how long we've been talking about Bill Cosby.
What you gonna talk about? Who the hell was he? Enos. He got shot on the side of the road changing the tire with
By
an
some- by
with an
a
expensive
Russian?
car. Man, will you
By a
please? What is
Russian?
it about
And
you?
during that time, it did get
By
a
a
lot of
Russian
Hello,
guy?
Russia. What difference? It's
been
an
a long
international
time
city. What difference does it make of ethnicity?
It sounds weird. That's why.
just said-
It just sounds weird.
Man, my God.
It sounds weird. That's why.
Trudy wants to know
The
why
Real
y'all.
Housewives of Atlanta.
Trudy wants to know why we're
Well, you
making
want to
excuses.
be on that show.
Why we're making excuses? I mean,
Look, the man did what he did. Why are you surprised? Men in power feel empowered, and they think they can do this. Clinton had a blowjob in the damn White House,
And that wasn't the first time.
and you sit there and doing that. You
Well,
got Jesse
you made a
Jackson.
good
who
point.
get-
Okay.
Then you got Jesse come up and he gonna talk to the family. Come to find out, he got a kid on
All
the
right,
side.
and look how they've bounced back. Do you all think Bill Cosby can bounce back from
He's
this?
77 years old. I don't think he can bounce.
Yeah,
You know what Bill
bounce
Cosby
back
need to
from
buy? He
what?
need to invest in a coffin.
It bounced back.
Now.
He's towards the end
That's
of
a darn
his.
shame.
Years old. How the hell
That's
you
a
gonna
darn
bounce?
shame.
He's just
Miles,
getting
that you would-
He
residuals.
need to invest. Look at it.
I need some help on this.
You need some help, all right? Yeah.
I'm not gonna go as far as a coffin, but
Yeah, okay.
poor
his-
Bill. I
his
mean,
thing.
really, it's
Poor.
Poor,
It's not poor
seriously.
Bill.
Well, no.
If he's
When I
guilty
say
of said things-
bounce back, bounce back from the standpoint that Walt Disney wants to take down his statue
Got
and
to go.
But Bill Cosby,
funds and that sort of thing.
Cosby
People want to
is-
counsel everything that he's done.
he's
his
denied
legacy, his
everything.
character is damaged. But like you said, Bill Clinton is still Bill Clinton and riding
hold up.
hot.
We
and
made Bill
riding
Clinton.
hot.
Hold up. We made Bill Clinton. Colored people made Bill Clinton. Moved
you
them in
say
the Harlem.
colored people?
Colored. That's exactly. But they're
Colored
not
people?
African American like me. They're colored. They let him get away with that.
Oh,
they
he's
moved him
going
into
into that
Harlem.
thing.
When he opened up
Interesting.
his, he knew where his strength was. Why do you think he pulled Jesse in to talk to him and his wife, and then pulled Billy Graham in? He knew where his strengths were.
That's
And
right.
Bill
We the ones
Clinton
who-
did show up on Arsenio show and play
When Hillary ran in
saxophone, so,
2008,
you know.
she never dreamed that Obama was going to come into the picture. She said, I got this on as a rap. We got this locked up. We
Okay.
have been never, we're the most forgiving people, just like
All
Cedric,
right. Do
the
you think we
entertainer
can
said.
forgive
Hell,
Bill
forgive what?
Cosby?
Yeah, I mean, I got no problem with it.
Okay.
He didn't do nothing to me.
Okay.
Can I forgive him?
No. The
Okay.
big problem Bill Cosby had is standing up as a moral barometer.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't know other
And then,
people.
and then having this come out.
What
That's
the
the
hell is that?
problem
Would
I
you
have.
please stop waving pom-poms next to me? I don't need you to co-sign
Brother, I'm
me.
trying to make it look like you're not quite as crazy as you appear to be.
But that's what
So
makes
you're
you never
You need to
agree
separate the
with
two of y'all.
me. Over here, you know what the world going on with him over here? Yeah. Give me a M. Give me a
So
O.
how long do you think it would be before Bill Cosby can bounce back?
I don't think he's going to bounce
You'll hear
back.
you'll
from
hear
this.
eulogy
I really
before you
don't.
hear him do something else again.
I
That's for sure.
really don't.
Well,
Bill is a
how
rat.
how is it that we as black people once again, one of our own, we just nail him in a coffin like that?
What you mean nail him in a coffin?
What does he have to do in order for you to go, yeah, nail him in the
Bill
coffin?
Cosby was not.
That's the question you need to answer for me.
Bill Cosby
I ain't gonna answer anything.
No.
Yes, you do.
Keep on
Well,
moving.
no, I mean, answer his question. That's legitimate.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
my thing is this. Okay, like you said, it was years ago, and we all have done something in the past that we're not happy about.
Yeah, this is a little bit extra.
This is one of
egregious. This is a little bit extra.
Y'all don't think that we, at this point, I mean, do you think? Okay, let me ask this question. Do y'all think he need to?
I'll ask you better than this.
Do
You
you
have
think
two
he need?
daughters.
Do
You
you
have two
think?
daughters.
Do you think he need to be persecuted for it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Persecuted or prosecuted? There's a
Prosecuted,
difference.
yeah.
Both.
Okay.
Well-
I said persecuted because he puts himself out there, the moral parameter. He's telling you how to raise your kids, what you should be doing, how we as a race of people are
Ain't
lacking
doing
in
right.
raising our kids and what we should be doing.
Okay, so he's
doing
a
that.
hypocrite.
So he
He's
can
a
be
hypocrite.
Persecuted
He's
for
a
that.
hypocrite,
But he
okay.
needs to be prosecuted for what he did if he broke the law. But from what I understand, Quaaludes were not against the law. This boy Darren Sharper, who got all this time,
Yeah.
he broke the law. He did the very same thing at the very same time. I can't understand with all these women giving it up like they do, why famous people feel like they got to do something. And who wants a woman who can't move?
Yeah,
Well, that's what she said.
That's what I'm
That's what she-
saying.
You know
what I'm saying to you?
He has something else is going on with Bill.
Sometimes it ain't what you can
want
get
somebody
that
I think he been hanging out with
unconscious
Mr. Free.
to be with. That is sad.
Glenn says Bill is a black and a freak. Is black and a freak. That's what Gene is saying. Gene said Bill is black and a freak. Yeah.
What makes it freaky? He just want to have himself some fun.
Well, but you just
He's strange.
said.
But
Like
I
you
don't
said.
call the word a freak. Freak is something that's abnormal.
That is
Anything you do
abnormal.
sexual is not
Yeah, that
freaky.
would kinda
You
be
just want to say,
abnormal.
you just went through some different actions. All of a sudden, that's freaky. Get the heck
Okay,
out.
somebody said CeeLo did the same thing.
I don't know about
Who was CeeLo?
CeeLo, you know what made
CeeLo, he used to be on- what's the show?
Used to be with the group Goody Mob.
Oh.
That I don't, that.
What was
that
it? The
he's
Voice.
hip-hop
He was on The
artist.
Voice.
Yeah, hip hop artist.
Yeah.
Hip-hop. Let me tell you something. Hold up. The boy, what's it? Warren Sapp just
Yeah.
his then he hit another woman he just beat up. Greg Anthony. He's up in Maryland before you call the game. He's having sex with prostitutes. Great life working for ESPN. The other boy, I remember one time when they had a play for Atlanta. When they had the Super Bowl. He caught out in the streets soliciting a prostitute. James Worthy. Beautiful wife. He's
How
out
you
there
keeping
with
up with all these folks and
Well, I'm
all
just
this?
sitting there
All
telling-
this?
Well, no, it's news. I don't-
What's up with that?
No, I just said that because me as a man who sits out here and watch, I'm trying to figure out when I see these women with guys who, why when you're famous do you feel you need to, because I have seen star power. I've seen women lose their minds over men in entertainment business.
And that is probably
You know what
why.
I'm saying? See, I have
That's
personal-
why.
I've seen them press up on athletes who they don't even know, but they see other people follow them, like with the Sinbad Aruba thing. I saw somebody follow Howard and Chris Webber. They just come into the league. I heard the women say, I don't know who they are, but they're supposed to be famous. And they wanted an autograph. I mean, they were literally pushing people out of the way. It's something about fame that goes along with this thing and people being forgiving of it. But these guys doing it when he was on the show, I can only tell you, like with the James Brown story, when you saw him smack his wife and hit his wife,
Yeah.
and knock her down,
Yeah.
and then he come back. I mean, James kept running around yelling, he black and he proud, but he ended up with a white woman.
Right at the
And
end.
processed hair.
Well, I think some of the women that were abused by Bill Cosby, I think some of them, like you said, were seeking fame and trying to
Well, I think
start
so
their
too.
career.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the question I have, some of the women, some of the testimonies I've heard, or some of the the stories I've heard, the women went back a second time. If you know you've been drugged,
I thought they slept through the first one.
She just want to come back and make sure.
That's what it was. They thought Bill probably told them, baby, I knocked you out. You don't remember this? So they come back to find out. You know how y'all can be sometimes, you know?
No, I don't know. No, I don't know.
Wake
No.
up,
Just
can't
the
remember.
fact that he had to make sure that they were unconscious tells me that something is lacking in his performance that he just didn't want anybody to know.
No, you did that.
No, it's up, but Jay.
That's some
They're not gonna go with
tabloid
that
stuff
shit.
right
I'm
there.
sorry, they're not gonna go with you on that one. mean, it could be. I mean, it could be, really.
I mean, hold on. If you're a married man,
why would you knock a woman out like that?
If you're a married
and that
man,
many
you don't want her
women,
to tell it.
that many women. Why would you knock that many women out and before you can
That's some old
perform sex
caveman
with
stuff.
them?
But why would you have
That's
to?
some old caveman stuff. So
I mean,
you know,
you don't know. Lawrence said rape is rape.
That's
Do
right.
you all believe it was
Exactly.
rape?
if you
Rape
want
is
something
rape.
and can't
Yes,
get
it's
it,
rape.
then,
It's rape.
if
It's
you can
definitely
steal it,
rape.
you will.
Rape is rape.
Let's use that metaphor.
Well, is it rape for the women that went back the second time?
No.
Well-
There's a fine line between being a victim and a volunteer. First time you're a victim. Second time you're a volunteer.
No.
Okay.
Unless it happened the exact same way.
No, that's like saying a woman. That's like saying a woman
And
with a
the
man.
other hard problem I have is that many women. How come somebody didn't speak up? I just have a hard time.
Just because you didn't hear about it don't mean it didn't happen.
No, I mean press charges.
Just
then.
a minute, Ms. Free. The only reason we know about this case where they found his evidence was because the Associated Press asked for it.
Right,
and got
I know
had the
that.
case.
I understand that.
So
You're
we don't
right.
know how
No,
many cases
right.
been
I'm not
settled and
right. I'm
sealed.
not talking
We
about.
don't know how
I'm
many
not
cases.
talking about what the Associated Press.
I can't get you to listen.
I
if
am
you
listening.
Listen, you can understand. I'm telling you, we do not know how many cases she has been sued and settled because of confidentiality.
Well, the one.
No, we only know of this one.
Okay,
but there
I
may
know
be
about
others.
the one, right? Okay, if there are others, but
And
the
a
women.
pimp ain't gonna let his best hoe get in trouble and not be able to work.
Oh my God!
You all are throwing
smoking in that synthesized thing over there, man.
This is strawberry and cream. I was
You
using that
all
as a
are saying
metaphor.
something that's just-
I was using it as a
Metaphoric,
metaphor.
guy. Do you know what a metaphor is?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sitting next to one.
All right, let's. We got Reggie on the phone. Reggie, hold, because we got to take a break. You all are off the chain.
Let me explain.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, William R.J. Brimmers III, and we're here this week with another edition of Will Wednesdays. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here this week to talk about gratitude. Gratitude is just having thanks, just having a certain level of appreciation of everything that you're experiencing in life. Like, you didn't wake yourself up this morning. The source that created you woke you up this morning. So everything that you experience, everything you go through in life, it might not always be a great day. It might not always be things that you have, like, to just smile about. But when you really, really think about it, is it really that bad? Like, if it didn't kill you, like, didn't it make you stronger? Didn't it make you tougher? Like, if you want to be strong, you have to, again, rip your muscles to shreds, so you got to go through some pain. So, like, just be grateful. Just show a little bit of gratitude to the universe. Like, the universe will appreciate your gratitude. And as you start to just be grateful for things, more things will manifest in your reality. You'll start to find that doors are open and certain things will close, and you'll just be in positions to just be better. So, look, just be grateful. Check us out each and every week, man. We're here at www.tanyafree.com. And make sure you check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Cold Winners. Peace.
You're listening to AM/FM 247, music you love from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Best talk radio all day and every day.
Doc, you gotta give it to me straight.
All right.
'Cause I'm dying here. I mean, take a look at this letter from the IRS.
Oh, my.
This is killing me, Doc. I tell you, it's killing me.
Cheer up, my friend. The tax doctor is here. My diagnosis tells me that you're going to be just fine.
Really?
The tax doctor will not rest until we find you the best possible tax settlement.
Really, Doc?
Guaranteed.
If the IRS claims you owe them $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes, call a tax doctor right now. We could save you up to 75% if you qualify. Guaranteed or you pay nothing. Call right now for free details.
800-918-7169. 800-918-7169. 800-918-7169. That's 800-918-7169.
Tether the roof off, we gonna tether the roof off the mother sucker. Tether the roof off the sucker. Tether the roof off, we gonna tether the roof off the mother sucker. Tether the roof off the sucker. Tether the roof off, we gonna tether the roof off the mother sucker. Tether the roof off the sucker. Tether the roof off, we gonna tether the roof off the mother sucker. Tether the roof off the sucker.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now. Give Tanya a call at 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 toll free coast to coast. That's toll free 844-321-1010.
Okay, let's get this last segment over before I hurt somebody. Let's go to Reggie. Reggie.
Yeah, real quick, I need your help. The panel help quick with something. Okay, the young quarterback at Florida State who allegedly hit a European woman in the face, and his defense is that she called him the N-word. Now, if young people want to use the N-word some for a phrase of endearment, then how's that going to hold up as far as the defense? Just want to throw that out to the panel.
Okay, we appreciate that. We definitely going to be talking about him.
It looked like she hit him first.
Who cares? So she did. So what that mean?
And then when that's followed by the N-word, well,
we don't
know better, but
let me ask y'all.
I have a hard time with this one. Go ahead, Mouse. You go ahead and make your comment.
First of all, he had no business going to the ball.
That's true.
He's 19. He's 19. So what is this jockeying at the ball for?
Unless
but
it's 18
there you go. You can't buy liquor in this
country.
country.
Even if he was, let's say, even if he was 20, even if he's 21, how do you feel about the situation?
He should never put his hands on it.
Okay, we on the same page.
Let's get this understood. I don't care if she swung. I don't care if she did a flying back kick. People, once again, here's another ball player. Like I said with Ray Rice, the man is used to being hit. Where was his threat? Literally.
Right.
Where was
he
his
punched
threat?
her like he was punching a man.
He hit her.
He
hit the hell out of her.
Punched her like he was hitting a man.
She threw a punch and claimed he did the knee. I wish my daughter, if a man had grabbed her arm and was refraining her arm, would have done the very same thing to get the man off of her. He hit that woman. It's inexcusable what she did. A man has no business. If you have a way to get the hell out, you got no business hitting a woman.
That's right.
Thank you. I agree with that 100%.
I would sit there and say I would never change that. And I'd say it. I've been, as y'all know, I'm in the club business. I've been smacked, spit on, kicked, and everything else. Don't put your hands. If you got a way to get out, then you should back away. This man is used to being hit by 300 pounds.
Exactly.
This girl represented no threat to him. And if she'd have had a broken glass, a broken bottle, or a weapon, you got a different story.
Right. Or he could have grabbed her arm. And like you said, if that's the case, and she was of imminent threat, that's a different
You are
ballgame.
Mr. Football in Florida. I don't see why she couldn't have spun him. I mean, if he wanted to, he could have handled this,
Right,
doing this.
exactly.
He punched this woman and left. Inexcusable. Anytime men do this, it's just inexcusable. Do not feel it at all. Say what you please.
Thank you, Bounce. You're on the same page. You're a man. Now, I have a problem with these men that want to punch women like they're punching a man. I really do. I know we talked about this earlier, that she hit him, but I just have a problem with a man hitting a woman.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. My thing is, these girls, whoever they are, whatever they are, need to understand that everybody's not raised the same way with the same morals. So you take it upon yourself to push somebody over the edge. You don't know who you're talking to, who's crazy, who's not. So you're putting your life out there when you provoke a person. Now, I believe wholeheartedly he should have never hit her. But dealing with Joe Q public as it is, you don't know who you're dealing with. And girls need to learn. Don't push these people in the street that you don't know anything about, because you might seriously get hurt.
But even if you do, you shouldn't.
They shouldn't hit them. I agree with that. But you need to
take a chance
take care of
when you
yourself
open your mouth
too.
to the wrong person.
As a woman, you need to take care of yourself.
So now that it's happened, what should happen to this young brother?
Well, he's going to be
definitely.
Well, he's already kicked off.
Well, he got the right attorney. He got the right attorney. He's going to get another chance, but it's going to be at a lesser university. This cost him millions.
Right.
This cost him millions.
Should it? Do you think it should have cost him?
Oh, it absolutely should cost.
Oh no, HBCU going to take him just like that boy in Hampton. That boy that was charged with that rape down in and Bill Cosby flew him to Hampton and got him on the Hampton. He went to the NFL. I forgot his name. It was a big story on 60 Minutes. Remember he had consensual sex with this white girl down south.
Jameis Winston?
No, this was 10, 12 years ago.
Oh.
He had sex with this young girl, and they charged him and gave him this time, and they raised so much hell about it that the governor commuted it. And Bill Cosby went and picked him up in his jet, and flew him, and he ended up and got Harvey to accept him at Hampton University. He had got a scholarship to Vanderbilt or somewhere, and you can look that up. But I'll get that name for you. But he got another chance. He went to the pro league. This boy will be picked up in a lesser school or lesser division, which would cost him money.
Well, what about the woman? I think she should have been charged. I haven't heard anything about that.
Did he grab her before?
No, she hit him.
She hit him before.
She honestly did.
No.
Yeah.
It looked like,
according to the videotape I saw, she hit him first.
You need to get a better television.
No, she honestly.
She swung after he was holding her right arm.
Right, that's what I saw too.
He was holding her right arm, and she swung with her left. She did not swing until he held her hand. She put her hand up put her fist up. He grabbed that. It looked like she tried to knee him, and she swung.
Right. And then he punched her.
But I don't know when he walked by her whether he touched her on the butt or he pushed her or what. Something got her to interact with somebody who turned around at the bar. People at bars don't normally get upset when somebody brushes up against them if you go to a bar, because that's what happens when you go to a bar. She spun around like something spurred it on. And we all know men who press up against women at the bars and stuff like this. It's what they do. Put their hands on somebody. I'm not saying he did that. I haven't seen enough of it. But he held her arm, and that's when she tried to knee him, and she swung. Then he dropped the race card. All of a sudden, she didn't call him the racial epithet.
Right.
Nobody said anything about that, But
well,
the smartest thing
it
he got.
did come up. I heard that in media that she did.
Did she say she said it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, she
I don't
may
know
have been
if she
upset
said it,
enough.
but my question is this: should she been charged as well?
If she hit him, yeah.
If she was at
violence.
fault in any way, shape, or form, then yes. But we don't know what the impetus was for the interaction, like he said, anyway. So how did that go? So until you find that out, you can't really say a whole lot.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. His parents were smart. We got that attorney that represented that girl, Stacy, and said, look here, we're not saying nobody at fault, not the way he was raised, not the way it's supposed to be done, taking all the blame. I like the fact. I'm quite sure they're glad they didn't charge him. Because look at he got this stuff in action right now. He said, look, I'm 100% at fault. This will never happen again, and I'm sorry.
Right. Because there's money on the line.
Yeah, but I think in his future, he got with this thing here, but they didn't try to.
Like you say, he's 19.
But hold up, we just had a case like this right here in Richmond, where the white girl claimed that the ball player from VCU, attacked her.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find out that he never put his hands on her. Then we had the case of the UVA, which was not involved. Once again, I'm talking about when you get the latter part of a video listening. The young man who was tackled by the Virginia ABC board, but it did come to find out that he was belligerent and cursed at him. Now he was because these people stopped him, you know, and he was
but that's
wrong.
no reason for them to.
They went too far with
try to bust
I didn't
his
say
head
that.
open.
I didn't say they didn't, but still, he act like he did nothing. He said nothing and did nothing. When he did, when they tried to see him, he didn't want to cooperate with it and cursed at him. That's not a right to get thrown out.
Right,
That's why you saw the charges the way they were. But you know, we get the end of videos, you know. But the only video I thought that wasn't necessary was the video showing Ray Rice actually hitting his wife
in the elevator.
Because when they both walked on, and at the end he pulled her out, I didn't need to see what happened in the middle.
Right,
You
he
know?
was dragging her out.
Yeah, if you
Right.
leave your house and it's standing, and you get back and it's burnt to the ground, I don't need to see the fire to know what happened there.
Right, you knew something
But
happened.
this boy here, these guys, man, let me tell you something. These athletes, and they go to these integrated schools, and they get down there with these white women, and they smile in their face. I'm just saying, you got to be for real. You got to call it like you call it. They get these things going. They feel empowered at these universities. They go to show that there are 70% of sexual assaults at universities are not reported. Not reported. They had the president of Elizabeth City who was fired because he failed to follow up on reports of sexual abuse at these universities. It's just fair. And this is the fourth athlete I know since the end of the season
Right.
who's been in trouble, you know, for putting their hands, you know, on women.
Are young men being raised now differently than it was back in the day where, you know, you were talking about you not hit a
Again,
woman?
they're not being raised and they don't know the history.
Women are letting them get away with it, and that's the bad thing about it.
I agree with you
That's
100%.
Women are letting them get away. Women are allowing this to happen. I've seen it over and over again. Once again, I hate to keep referring to this young man as an attorney, but he'll tell you that case that day. That's why they gave the police power to make the arrest. So many women have called the police about abuse, and when they get there, they say everything. I don't want them arrested, just want them to be. And the police now, they see physical evidence, they now can make the arrest themselves. But 90% of the time, when you go back to court,
Change the story. What, like Ray Rice's?
Well, now look at the girl with the Hardy case in
Fiancé,
Charlotte,
wife,
North
or whatever
Carolina.
she was.
Remember, she didn't show up. The guy, defensive end for the Charlotte, not for the Carolina Panthers, when it was time to go to court because they found him guilty and he did the appeal. I had a jury trial. She took her money, didn't show up, so the case was dismissed. Then he was picked up by Dallas, but the NFL suspended him for 10 games. But she didn't show up. So many times, this is what you get. Juanita Bryant, remember the lady down in the evangelist down in Atlanta that was beat by her husband?
I know the artist. Yeah.
Yeah, beat her up, and he was a minister of a powerful family, and but she had taken the much she could take. But I was there that night. She got whipped in front of witnesses.
Oh my
So she had no
goodness.
choice but to keep going with that one.
Wow, it is just
C.C. Winan beat his wife.
Yeah, I heard about that. But you know, when I watched the James Brown movie, and James Brown movie, and when I saw him, Jill Scott was playing his wife, and when he smacked her, I was just outraged. I'm always ready to stop watching the movie. I just cannot stand seeing a man hit a woman, and then like you said, for a woman to take it.
Well, Mick Jagger did a very good thing with that movie because they went out of their way not to shoot. Very seldom do you see in movies that you don't see the blow. Remember, you saw her fall.
Yeah,
she then she come flying back, right?
Oh yeah, she played that
come
part.
flying back, but they did very well not to. But they didn't see it being a continual thing. It was almost like that was a one instance
Right.
type. Which I'm not excusing, but it wasn't like it seemed like he was somebody who was serial and putting his hands on women. But that was the part of the movie that kind of shook me. But you could see the look on his face. It was something he must have introspection. He must have looked at because he come and looked at the camera like, what the hell have I done there? Then he made it up to her. I guess you saw at the end.
Hell with that.
But probably
His
it's hatred from women because of what his mother did to him too.
Right, exactly. Definitely. I mean, how do you leave your child, deny your child like that? Talking about the James Brown movie and how he abused Jill Scott was playing his wife, and he hit her that she fell all over the place. I'm like, oh my goodness. But when you have, like you said, you have women now that would, go through that type of abuse and think it's okay, and it's not. It is not. I don't care. Horseback riding or walking.
Women are such a baffle. When I say this to you, there's a guy with the Black Gorilla family in Baltimore was in jail. The man had 5 kids while he's locked up by 4 different guards.
Okay.
You tell me, I'm really.
Well, think about the escape in New York and the
this woman. Let me tell you something, man. Every case. How about in North Carolina where the lady let the murderer get out? I'm trying to tell you, women, y'all don't hold your ground up on a lot of things.
Some women, not all women. Some women.
Okay.
Some women.
A lot of those men pick those type of women too.
What? You locked in jail.
A lot of those men, whether in jail or out, some of them try to pick those type of women that they can manipulate and try to control. And then when they get angry and they want to slap them around, they figure, oh, well, she's not going anywhere. She's not going to do anything.
Okay, I don't want to talk about this subject anymore. I want to welcome our listeners in Long Beach, California at 101.5 FM. Welcome, welcome, listeners. We appreciate you joining us today. Please give us a call. Phone lines are open, 844-321-1010. That's our toll-free number. We're going to talk about the subway guy, Jared. And once again, we got a face, and everybody fell in love with him, losing all this weight. I can't remember how many pounds it was, but he was a big guy. And when I saw him yesterday, like he had put on some of the weight. Put some of the weight
big
back.
coat. He had a big coat on in July. He had a big coat on with a hood in July. That's what he had on. Yeah.
Well, he was trying to cover. They didn't have him handcuffed. I think
He would have been charged. The guy from his foundation was actually charged 2 months ago with the Jared Foundation about kids who are obese, and they found him with child pornography, information on his computer and hard drives, and he probably said that Jared was part of it too. So they went into his house with dogs. I don't understand the dogs going in for fouls, but they can train dogs for everything. And they were taking computer wear and soft and hard drives and stuff out, and they're going to investigate him. And once again, I'm back to what I'm telling you about the internet. I mean, you truly don't know about anybody today.
True.
So you can say you want. I mean, anybody today. Parents drop their kids off at these daycares and no background. They just visit for a few days. You have no idea. There was a lady here one time. I remember her son that just got out of jail. He was driving the kids around.
Oh, my.
I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know.
Well, I tell you what. Hold that thought, because I have a comment. We're going to take a break and come right back.
Us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you. Till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed. Strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you still living your life after death.
Hey, this is Coffee Black, coming through to bring you the latest in sports, celebrity, and entertainment news. Here's the sip this week. So Rick Ross is out of jail, but if he violates his bail conditions, he will lose his $5 million home formerly owned by Evander Holyfield. And Diddy won't face any felony charges, so he and his beloved Ciroc are safe for now. In couple news, Vanessa Williams tied the night for the third time at the age of 52, and Ashton wiped up his former co-star Mila Kunis. Congrats to all. In other couple news, it looks like Khloe has moved on to James Harden. They were spotted out over the holiday together. And meanwhile, yes, she is still legally married to Lamar Odom. And rapper Trina feels some type of way because she tweeted out sloppy seconds. So listen, Trina gotta chill. It's free for all when it comes to celebrities, and you can't claim somebody that belongs to the game. I'm just saying. Check out more on my site, thesipwithcoffeeblack.com, and tune in next week to The Sip with Coffee Black. No sugar, no cream.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Advertise with Tanya Free and Friends. Text the word advertise to 63975. That's 63975. Or give us a call at 844-321-1010. That's 844-321-1010.
Real Weather here.
Play resumes. I wanted to invite the friends to join me for the Real Brother Radio Show, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the Real Brother Radio Show network. And you can always like us on the Real Brother Radio Show Facebook page. That's the Real Brother Radio Show on the Real Brother Radio Network.com, because the truth has value. Oh, I like that.
Check out the Tanya Free and Friends Rewind every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the May We Help You Radio Network at mwhwradio.com.
Yeah, but never news, mama. Bootzella's here. The world's only rhinestone rock star down, baby, mama. I wanna be your toy. I wanna play for you, mama. Yeah, but never news, mama. Created by Funk Attack Incorporated. Makers of funky things to play with. Wind me up, baby. Say what the? Just wind me up. Put me on your credit card, baby. And at no extra expense comes this remote control.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now. Give Tanya a call at 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 toll free coast to coast. That's toll free 844-321-1010.
Okay, we're back. Mouse is just sharing something with me that was just unbelievable. And let's talk about Donald Trump once again. You were telling me that you had Donald Trump ties and you gave them all away.
Quality ties. And I refuse. After what he said about Barack Obama and kept staying on it and other disparaging things he had said about it, especially when they said that the birther, wasn't so much the birther thing that bothered me. The fact that he said he only got into Harvard because he was through affirmative action. There's no way I'm going to have this happening and let this man stand out front on this and support him. So my way was not to, I'd already bought the ties, so I refused to be seen in them. I gave them away, wanted to burn them, but I had a friend of mine convinced me to give them to him. But I refused to watch The Apprentice show. And I held Arsenio Hall, I held them accountable for being on that show, Lil Jon, Nene Leakes, all this Mr. Trump stuff, and these other African Americans. You cannot make a stand and have someone speak this way about somebody. This man was elected to office, but it meant so much to an entire 2 or 3 generations of people. Mm-hmm. Because there were people who thought they would never see this. I was one. I was hoping to.
Right.
But then to see this happen, and I kept saying, then what you need to do is not spend the money with him. You know, just not no more.
I agree.
Hold the people who do business like Macy's and NBC and these other corporations. Now we turn around and you see how he says about Hispanics in 4 days.
Right. And don't care.
In 4 days, you see how many companies got out of this thing in 4 days.
Right.
And this is all I've ever said. If you want America to spend, threaten not to spend that. No, don't threaten. Do not spend that money. In 4 days, this man lost 8 corporate sponsors. Now, it was on the news this morning. This real estate agent guy was talking about people don't want to buy or rent buildings with the Trump brand
name on it. That's right.
So now it's starting to cost it. We could, but we won't stand and do this. This is all I'm saying.
Right. I think it's gone further than he thought it would.
Well,
he's losing money now.
I was done with Trump when he put out a full-page ad in the New York Times, I believe, calling for the execution of those four black youths that were accused of raping that woman in Central Park. Do you remember that?
Right. Yes.
Right. Okay. From that point on, never mind some ties, I was done with him then. Period. Because he did not then take out another full-page ad when they were exonerated for it to apologize, to recant his request for such. So I was done with him then.
I've never been a Donald Trump fan.
But let me qualify something. I didn't buy the ties because they were Trump brand. I bought the ties because Trump brand. His ties were comparable to Xenia ties. His ties was comparable to Armani ties. If you want to know, that would be $279.
Explain it away,
here. No, I'm just trying to tell you. And you could get it at Macy's. You were getting a quality. Believe me, there's a difference between that tie with the hurt that match and a quality tie.
Right.
The way it falls, just like a quality suit falls.
Okay.
But I'm sitting there telling you, I was through from I don't do Tommy Hilfiger. Not Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger, when he sit there and said that blacks would rather have a car than have a home. And
I remember that.
And remember the Eddie Bauer stores? I stopped doing Eddie Bauer.
A lot of black folks can't get a home. That's why they get a car.
And they were sitting there saying that he had people followed, in his stores,
right.
In the D.C. area of African Americans. Like the guy did the Barney. Remember the guy bought a belt at Barney's and they thought he had to steal it, but the young African American guy.
Right.
It was a girl that did that. Or exactly.
Okay, yeah. So I watch these things because of these things, and y'all know I'm not just talking. I stayed away from Chick-fil-A for 2 years because of the way they felt about gay people and gay rights. Until they changed it and started saying they would cater things, I stopped doing business with them.
Is that enough of us doing what you're doing, though, Mouse? That's the problem. That's the problem.
Why
is that? What is it that we cannot, sacrifice like Rosa Parks?
We're not understand something. When it comes to Donald Trump, you want to mention all these sponsors that he's lost and so on and so on. Donald Trump could give a crap about having lost that.
Yes,
he don't care about it on that level because he would not.
He started losing buildings. Yes, people not wanting to.
But he doesn't own the buildings with his name on it. Just because his name on it, don't mean his name.
But it affects his real estate business.
He does own the buildings.
It affects his. That's the majority of his business.
So I mean, hold on with his brand, but like his golf, like the golf thing.
He doesn't care.
Let me say this to you.
I think
Trump does not want to. Let me tell you something.
He ain't that stupid.
Trump is not rich.
No, he's not.
Right, because he filed for bankruptcy or reorganization like 4 or 5 times.
He had the only casino that went bankrupt. Casinos don't go bankrupt. I'm sitting there telling you whether he's worth $2 billion or $9 billion. In that billionaire world, that's no money.
Yeah.
A prime example, this boy Mark Cuban, to encapsulate this basketball player from the Clippers, Mark Cuban, got him for the Dallas Mavericks, but he hasn't signed yet. But the guy Ballmer, who owns the Clippers, could buy Mark Cuban 100 times over. This is Microsoft money. Cuban's sitting up there maybe with $10 billion. This guy, he's in the real $1 billion class, So he doesn't. I'm just saying that same things in perspective. Trump is not beyond. If people call Trump's debts due, he wouldn't have any money.
He would be in trouble. Right. He's reorganized 4 or 5 times.
You've also
instead of saying bankrupt,
you've also got to look at Donald Trump as, and I was speaking to a friend of mine about this. We're all talking about him and what he said and what he's losing and this and that. But what nobody's talking about that may be of some significance is that nobody's talking about Jeb Bush, who is going to be the likely nominee for the Republican Party.
Well, lesser of the two evils, of course, by a long shot. Well, and it's a shame that he's well.
With that being said, he's not getting asked important questions.
Well, he will. He will once he get into the general election.
You guys want to talk about Republican? Let me say this to you right quick.
And let me say this: Republican is even turning their backs on Donald Trump.
I know.
With the exception of
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
My friend and I think I'm coming over to the other side. When this Confederate flag thing came up in South Carolina, Hillary and them didn't touch this.
Oh, I agree with you.
The first big name to jump out there and say this got to go was Mitt Romney.
You're right.
You're
absolutely.
And
that's why I'm not feeling Hillary for that. You're right.
Don't blame the flag.
You're right.
Blame the person. Then that Tuesday, she started shifting with Mitt Romney. Hillary.
You're right. You're
danced
absolutely
all
right.
around all the
you
other
are
folks.
absolutely right. It was Mitt Romney.
When Mitt came up and said what he said,
that got the ball. I think got the ball rolling.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there saying to you
that you mentioned Hillary Clinton. I'm going to tell you the one thing I think that would have made her president instead of Barack Obama. At the time that was going on, there was something that went on in Gina, Louisiana, called the Gina 6. Are you all familiar with this?
Yes, we are.
That made no national coverage whatsoever, and I was really surprised that nobody running for president didn't run immediately to the scene to expose this obvious situation of racism. Had she gone there and exposed that instead of Barack Obama, we'd be talking about Barack Obama maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if I can go.
I'll give it that much weight.
We lined up.
I'll give it that much weight.
We lined up behind Barack, just like women are lined up behind Hillary. No, wasn't nothing other than him being caught with a boy. would have derailed Barack Obama. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
that's
All right.
that's
Took
an
me a
old
minute to get what the hell you were saying.
No, not saying no.
That's an old political joke.
No, but they're really. I'm sitting there saying, other than him and a boy, I'm sitting there telling you, would have cost him that election with us,
Right.
as a people to stand by him. Because we're standing by him through the things that's going on now. You know, he got out there. We got all this trouble with ISIS today because he called ISIS a JV team. He said it was like a JV team. Now look at what we're doing. Now he's saying it's the biggest threat we are facing. But he described the ISIL threat as like a JV team. He said, with Laker uniform
And at the
on,
time they were.
No, they were never that way because they were always there. Because we didn't know it was on the radar, just like Hillary discounted him when he first started running. Remember South Carolina Clyburn told Bill Clinton came out and started saying some real negative things about Barack when they were running. And Clyburn told him, said, look here, you got to calm it down now. Because they were trying to get that vote. Clyburn said, look here, don't take our support for granted, and you got to calm it down. Win it, but don't talk about him like this. Because Bill Johnson was putting out there from BET. Remember he was putting out about the cocaine stories and all this. Him and Magic Johnson were all behind Hillary. Charles Barkley, who I don't get along with.
I remember that vaguely.
He was the one who was
I don't
with
care
Barack.
for
But all the
Charles Barkley
athletes
either.
at one time were all behind Hillary. You know, Hillary was the person to go with. So, I mean, we got what we got. But I'm just trying to tell you that, you know, you can't, in this day and time, the economy shifts so quick and so fast. Like this AME church where the shooting took place. It's such a historical church. But you know what bothered me about it when the story first broke? Every image of Christ in that church was white.
Right. Yep. That's the truth.
You have a church
Of many churches.
that there's so much about the struggle, and every image in that church in stained glass.
Well, I guess I didn't get hung. I didn't get hung up on that. I am more focused on the people that were forgiving and how they have stuck steadfast to their faith, and that's why I believe we are where we are with regards to the negotiation or discussion with taking that flag down.
And in that regard,
had they been rioting and tearing up stuff, we would not be having this conversation with regards to the Confederate flag coming down.
Now, how much money has been collected?
I agree.
How much money has been collected on behalf of
a funky $3 million
of Roof for his defense fund? And where's that money coming from?
Well, he'll get all he wants.
He's gotten a bunch of money through.
Zimmerman got money.
Yeah, and because you sent me an article with regards to the Ritz Carlton and why
how they treat the African Americans at CIAA.
Right, but one of the things that with us we don't give and don't. As far as from a monetary standpoint, it takes money.
Without a doubt.
For legal fees and scholarships and all of that. What is it that we need to put our, like you said, boycott and put our money with our mouths, as well as giving to those causes
why haven't all these black,
on our behalf?
Why haven't all these black athletes
anybody on the panel seen what the Ritz Carlton
did
to the people at CIAA?
CIAA.
Charged everybody that week a $10.70 service charge on each bill.
That's what I was.
$10.70. Now, don't think they were the only ones who did this. But here's the crazy part about it. The CIAA,
Why do you think they did it?
Oh, they did it because of us. They claim that we don't tip.
Sadly we don't.
Okay, do y'all think there's any merit to that?
Well, I'm
yes.
not. Well,
okay,
yes.
that's all I want to know.
Understand something. Once again, hold up.
But you wouldn't do that.
Average income for white households is over $60,000. With us, it's less than 12. You can't expect us to.
Then
tip.
don't go to a restaurant.
Will you please?
And that's
let
the
somebody
end. That's
finish
the end of
something
the.
up without you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I stepping on your feet?
I'm not stepping about. I think what you feel that misses this, my brother. If you stand at the damn Ritz Carlton, you should be able to pay a gratuity.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
This is the Ritz Carlton.
Right.
So don't come down.
So if you cannot afford to tip,
don't go.
That's what and wherever you stay.
I'm not saying we're not tipping though, but that's what they put on us. But I'm telling you, listen to what I'm saying to you right now.
You know the true deal.
No, not always that way.
I was talking to a young man the other day, and he drives for one of the pizza places. And he said people, when he get tipped, in one area, they tip him like $1.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't been taught how to do gratuity, then you don't know. Let's get this understood. If you come up if you're the first person out of your household to start making money, your parents didn't tip because they were feeding 5 and 6 people. There was nothing left to do. Look at the movie Live Crown. That's all I'm saying. With Tom Hanks, he had lost his job. And the guy who fired him showed up with the pizza thing. He said, man, I can't give you the change. You know, because he was going through a struggle.
Right. But like you said, you're in the Ritz Carlton.
But when the housing bubble hit, hold up, please. When the housing bubble hit, gratuities fell off 70%. There are certain restaurants today, I know it's 2 or 3 in Washington, D.C., because of the mental anguish they're giving people, don't even allow gratuities anymore. You can't tip that staff.
Okay.
You know, because the guy said, we don't want you to
The thing about black
feel
folks,
that way.
but the thing about black folks not tipping, it was way, way before the housing crisis.
Okay, well, we have to continue that conversation some other time.
I make sure to tip.
I got to tip. Y'all tip 20 or whatever. Okay.
And
as
because
always, okay, we got to go. As always, I thank God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing us the opportunity to speak and hopefully heard. Thanks to our listening friends. Blessings to each and every one of you. Of course, thanks to Trina, Dr. West, Mouse, Van, Marcus, Antoinette, Coffee Black, Andre, El Bravador, Roosevelt, and Mr. Friend. I'm Tanya Friend. Until next time, be free. Remember to live life with a purpose.
Black folks rise up.
We'll be busy. Clapping dogs, rhythmic dogs, harmonic dogs, house dogs, street dogs, dogs of the world unite, dancing dogs. Yeah, counting dogs, funky dogs, nasty dogs.
Thanks for joining us for this installment of Tanya Free and Friends Talk Radio. Don't forget, the conversation continues 24/7 at TanyaFree.com. Keep up with the hottest topics of the day. Post your comments, opinions, and more. All at TanyaFree.com. On air, online, and on point. The views and opinions expressed by the guests do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or this station. Tanya Free and Friends Radio is a production of Freedom Marketing, Inc. All rights reserved.
Like that,